Did any of you grew an extra arm?
I
wish.
mean, that's not what they've told me.
Side effect.
I haven't grown an extra arm.
Sarah got the joke. And whoosh.
I mean, I had this weird desire to go find a Zune and like.
Oh my
try it,
god.
But otherwise, I felt fine. You know.
All right, I think we're recording now. Maddie's recording.
No.
Don't worry, I'll cut it out.
Thank you.
What's that voice?
It's a hidden voice.
Oh my god! Okay.
Is it secret? Is it safe? Doesn't matter.
All right.
Okay.
Hello, everyone.
Hola.
Hello.
Wow.
Today, the end of March.
It is almost April Fool's.
What a time to be alive.
It is.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
What? I mean, let's start out. What is everyone playing? Like, is anyone playing anything?
I just beat Monster Hunter Rise this week, so that's been.
Oh, Will, you don't even know the half of it.
Nice.
Can we just say for posterity, when did Monster Hunter Rise come out?
Friday.
I don't need to be shamed, okay?
This isn't shame. I'm just.
This isn't shame because Will doesn't have all the facts. It came out Friday. Buzz, when did you beat this game?
Monday.
Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy.
I really like Monster Hunter. I don't know why.
That's awesome.
It speaks to something that's wrong, like deep in my core. Like I didn't have a good
Have
childhood.
you
or
watched the
something.
Monster Hunter movie yet?
Yeah, I did watch that. It wasn't as good as the game though. That was some bad choices. It's like what a week to give up drinking. Am I right? No.
I know.
You might not be right, but you're not wrong.
That's what I'm playing, or was playing. I'm still playing it. It's fun. There's a lot of good multiplayer going on there because like the player base is huge right now, so you're guaranteed to get into like a good party every time.
Now, how is the online support? Because this is a Nintendo Switch title, so the online could be.
It's actually really good. I've had zero issues with the online. It's also really smooth. Like they're using the RE engine that's been repurposed for the Switch, I guess, and I'm super impressed because every time you get in a party with like, there's the 4 people working together. Each one of you has like an animal companion, so that's another character model on the screen, and you've got multiple monsters interacting all at once. So there's like a lot going on. I was actually really impressed. I was like, wow, like load times are almost like minimal. Surprisingly good. I didn't expect it to be like this cleaned up, really. My only gripe is there's no ending to the game yet. So you get to the final boss, you beat it, and then it literally does like a little like kind of Return of the Jedi, like Ewoks like festival scene. And then they hint at something and they're like, okay, now hang on till April when we push the final ending to the game. So you're kind of like, okay.
They told us Cyberpunk it released an incomplete game.
I mean, COVID impacts us all in different ways, I guess.
Yeah.
There is an ending. Like you do fight the final boss, but there is nice to know that there's more coming though, because it definitely kind of felt like, okay, but you didn't wrap up any of the plot here. What are we doing? But it's still good. If you like Monster Hunter, check this one out.
Anyone else playing anything?
Still playing Valheim. Still. That's it.
I actually, in deference to the 20th anniversary of the Fellowship of the Rings movie, picked up the video game again. There is
Which one? Is it the RPG that was on the Cube?
Yeah.
That one was good though.
It was.
I feel a bust coming.
I mean, it is. I also am still playing it on my Cube. So in comparison, also, let's just talk. The Cube was a great console.
Okay, I know I called it the Cube first, but can we like not call it that? I didn't realize how cringy it was until it came out of my mouth.
What do you want to call it?
The GameCube. You can use its full name. You can.
All right.
I'll pay for the extra syllable.
So magnanimous. You know I'm dirt poor. The GameCube is a great system. I really enjoy it, not just because of the memes about the opening sounds. It doesn't quite hold up. I can see though where like a lot of things have kind of borrowed from it or have built upon it. So like all in all, I'm probably a little over halfway through the game. It stacks up. I like it. It's funny. It's a good script.
Is it like an action RPG or something like that, or is it?
Kind of.
It's more like turn-based, really. But
yeah,
like,
it didn't really know what it was doing. I don't think like it wanted to be the Final Fantasy, but it also wanted to be the, Tolkien-esque, wide, expansive thing, and it also kind of wanted to be the movies.
it's super on rails, and it's weird because like you have a party where like all the characters kind of match up to people in the movie, but you're following them on like a parallel track. So like it'll have like cuts from the movie, like it'll show like one of the hobbits knocking that bucket down the well in the mines in the first movie. They'll show that actual clip from the movie, and then you're stuck fighting goblins down there because you alerted the horde down there. So you're like kind of following them, but even like both parties don't know about each other, but you're like impacting each other.
Yeah, it also, I can see, or oddly enough, and this is not oddly for me, but I could see a lot of how Dragon Age kind of, took some things from this game. Or not from this game because they came out, but I can see bits of it in Dragon Age and bits of Dragon Age in it, I should say. Or I just see Dragon Age everywhere. I don't know.
I guess the only shot at playing that will be on the Cube, right? I doubt that's getting any sort of re-release. No, not so much.
Yeah, I sincerely doubt that.
What about you, Gus? You playing anything?
Lately I have not, because I am going to buy a copy of Monster Hunter Rise. That's my next one that I'm going to play, but I've been dealing with some skunks in my house that I think I've gotten rid of.
Ooh,
God,
those are never fun.
freaking disgusting, man. Yeah, but I zapped them, man. They're no longer with
You
us.
gotta be careful not to get skunked yourself.
No. The house guy, they sprayed somewhere, but they're gone. So that's what I've been busy with, work, and then dealing with that garbage. But Monster Hunter is definitely on the top of my list. I can't wait for that, actually.
To be fair, I can see how the skunk fighting can prepare you for Monster Hunter. There seem to be some similarities there, although
Man, those, oh God, it was just completely vile. The smell was just vile, man.
Again, though, it doesn't even look like Dimitri's at the house.
I'm in my own house.
He smelled it, man.
Yeah, it was horrible.
It was vile. Huh?
It's by the garage or something. But I think did you kill it? Do you know? Have you seen it yet?
I killed it. Yeah. Oh, I put this thing. It's called the Giant Destroyer.
Humanely trapped it.
Listen, I played Mr. Nice Guy the first couple of times. Then I had to
No
leave
more Mr. Nice Guy.
I had to leave the house because it was disgusting, and it was getting into everything. You know what I mean? So I bought this thing. It's called the Giant Destroyer. You light it up and you throw it in the hole, cover up the hole real quick, and it gases them. So
okay.
I
No
might have
more Mr. Nice Guy.
I might have skunk corpse in my front porch there, but I also poured concrete in there.
So
John, it was bad.
So Dimitri, have you played anything?
Yeah, it's an interesting story. No, I'm just playing like Warzone, like the Battle Royale for Call of Duty. I haven't touched anything in a while. Will, you recommended, what was it, Outland or Outriders?
No,
when does the game get
that
released?
right.
Yeah, I don't know about recommended.
I would use that word.
Recommend?
No,
I do recommend
more
it.
like-
I recommend that game for Destiny players. It's Destiny.
okay, there we go.
No, it's real bad. Don't do it. Don't believe the hype.
Don't believe that. No, he said give the demo a go. If since I'm a Destiny player, maybe I'd like it. I saw gameplay. It looks okay. Kind of reminded me of that one Tom Clancy game. What was it? The Division, but with I guess the RPG, thing going on. I don't know. I might give it a try. I also want to play. I never finished the newest Assassin's Creed game, so I'm gonna give that a go in the near future. But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is that, Valhalla?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I bought
That
it.
looks good.
Apparently tried it. Yeah.
Connor, you playing anything?
I played some Hitman 2. I'm gonna buy a copy of Hitman. I'm gonna get a copy of Hitman 3.
Hitman 3 is good. I splurged and bought it the other day in an act of stupidity because I don't need any more things to play. But it's actually really good. It's just more Hitman. So if you like Hitman, I mean, go in. It's fun.
And other than some Call of Duty and some Dead by Daylight. That's it.
Okay.
I didn't realize there was a huge like community of people who not just stream Dead by Daylight, but apparently like it's very popular to stream it as a drag queen.
What?
Apparently, yeah, there's like it's like if you go onto Twitch, there like I was looking at like just like the hashtags, and one of them's like drag by daylight, and it's literally drag queens in like the full get up playing Dead by Daylight to their streamers, and there's like a huge community of them.
Oh, that would be delightful.
It's kind of fun. It's like if you're into like that, if you're into like drag stuff, it's actually kind of funny. Like it's a weird cross like convergence of like horror video game drag show. Like who knew?
Like, I would just wonder how the first stream started. That's all I want to know. Like, who's the first person? And then clearly, like, whoa, this seems. And then, no, forget the first person. Who's the second? That's the thing. Like, whoever the first person is the first person. But the second person is like, I want to emulate that. I want to do that too.
Boulay brothers are like coming for him. They're like, you took our gig.
Probably people coming home after a night and they're just sitting down, kicking off their heels and saying, I just want to play the game. I must stream
They're
it.
putting on the heels, Sarah. Come on, it's drag queen.
No, they're taking them off. They're coming home.
Oh, okay.
We're not going to play a game before they go out.
Yulia, are you
Where are we?
playing anything?
Well, I'm still playing all the Shantae games, so all of them.
Oh, the what now? Who?
Shantae?
I don't think I've
Indie
heard.
Interesting.
hero, no?
Dante is cool. Risky Boots the
Dante.
pirate.
Yeah.
Roddy
Oh,
Tops.
Game. That's the games, but I'm going from the very first one to the fifth one that came out
Nice.
not too long ago, so it's pretty neat. It's cute. It's really anime-like, and they got like very cute genie hopping around. So that's what I'm playing. We just got Switch, so
Ooh,
pretty much that's why I'm playing it.
Congratulations.
Yeah, so I'm replaying all the games which we had before on PlayStation 4, and now the ones which can actually be played on Switch. So now we're playing all of them on Switch.
let me tell you about a little game called Shin Megami Tensei.
Oh.
It's coming to the Switch.
Oh, I'm so glad we're talking about this.
If you want some classic PlayStation action, there you go. I think I got more than one person on here who would agree with that.
It's the king
Wow,
of
am I being
JRPGs.
subtly referred to?
Yeah. It would. Seems like you are, Chris.
Are you playing anything? Speaking of that, Christopher, are you playing anything?
Actually, I've been replaying Shin Megami Tensei 4.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Making the game intentionally harder on myself because it's funny.
How
Are you
so?
doing the neutral run or what?
No, I already did neutral. It's instead of using magic, I'm just going to hit things with a sword.
Oh, you're doing the fizz. Are you doing like a high agility, high fizz build?
Yep.
Yeah. That one's fun. Like I tried playing around with it because I eventually did just go magic because like it's like why wouldn't you if you want it like the easy route? But it gets a little like kind of random numbers near the end of the game.
You know, just why play properly and try and find weaknesses when I can just slap something really hard.
Yeah. I always wanted to go back and finish Apocalypse, the stealth, like not stealth sequel, but like the kind of like semi sequel to that game, but I never did. I bought it, but I only got so far into it.
Alon, what do you got?
Oh, you're muted, bro.
You're muted, buddy.
You're still muted.
You're still muted. Still all day. We can't hear you. We really would love to hear you. You're gonna give me all your Pokemon game. Okay, that's cool. Thank you.
Let me send him a message.
No,
He's out.
Hello.
Good.
Okay. No, I was trying to say earlier that I was thinking hard on that. I'm like, I need to pull out my Steam and my Nintendo Switch to be like, what have I been playing? And turns out I haven't played the game at all for a week and a half. So nothing.
So I'm not gonna lie. I am in the same boat you're in right now. Like I have not played anything for a week. I just finished moving, and yeah, like I'm just like I keep going. I'll play something soon. Like the thing I was most excited about with this place is having a new gamer room, and I'm like, yeah, it's gonna take a lot to put that switch on the television. And I already got the Chromecast going, and it will play videos. It's gotta happen soon.
But I will admit to something that I might get shamed for. I'm constantly looking at the deal section almost every day, even though I haven't played a game at all for over a week. I'm still at the eShop. I'm still on the PlayStation Store. I'm still on Steam. I'm looking at all three of them right now, actually, and I'm like, man, these sales.
I mean that's fair. Like in this week I bought both Hades and Super Mario 3D All Stars, which, as an aside, if you haven't gotten it, get it tonight. Get it tonight.
What are people's thoughts on Hades on the Switch versus, say, the PC?
Class, I don't play PC, but Hades
I've
is
only played it on PC.
Great game.
Can't say. Haven't played it on PC.
Okay. I haven't played Hades at all. It's one of those games where it looks lovely to play, but I don't know whether I should buy it for Steam or Switch.
I would argue, well, obviously Switch, just because I like having the ability to play it anywhere. It's one of those games where you're doing a lot of the same run over and over, even though none of them are the same. So like it's perfect for chilling on a sofa and like having a show in the background, or like sitting in bed and doing like before you go to sleep. I don't know if it's something that I would want to sit at a chair and desk and play on a computer. Chris, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I can see that. I play for the mouse and keyboard anyways, so I think definitely use a controller. That would be a lot more helpful. So, yeah, especially early on when you're not getting that far, you could definitely have that as like a pickup, do one run or two, and then put it back down.
It's true.
And finally, what's up?
I cannot say from experience because I have not played Hades. So.
And the Invisible Man, Marty, what are you playing?
My usual Grand Theft Auto 5 roleplay on PC, because I'm not a PlayStation or Xbox person, even though I have an Xbox that's sitting in the shelf and just been collecting dust for the past 4 years now, because I cannot use a controller for the love of myself. And I look at it, I'm like, what the hell is this? There's not enough buttons. How am I supposed to do anything? I need a keyboard and a mouse. I'm happy. So no, but I've been just doing Grand Theft Auto 5 roleplay on a 5M server that I'm a part of for the past 2 years now.
So wait, what do you do in like a GTA 5 roleplay? Like,
well, like you roleplay as a cop, or you roleplay as a fire person or medic and civilian, and You just pretty much like right now. I was voted in a couple months ago as the chief of the police for the Los Santos and the, San Andreas.
So like, when you join though, do you declare you want to do a job, or like, are there people who are like designated career villains? Like, can I show up and be like, hey, I'm the Joker, and I'm going to cause a problem. You better stop me. Like, is it like kind of like that?
You can, but there's certain scenarios that you have to have admin approval for. So like,
Wait. So you have to get like a scripted approval to make
No.
crime happen in the crime video game?
Because it's a community that I'm part of, there's certain things that they're not really good. Like they're straying away from underage roleplay and certain items of the perspective where you roleplay like real life, and like if it doesn't happen in real life, you can't really do something like that. Like it's not GTA Online where you go over and bazooka somebody into their head, but you just don't do that. Like there's certain things like you pretty much do stuff like what you would do normally in real life. So you have people who play civilian all the time, they create relationships in the game, and they just play with that person, or they just go out and they do a job where they become a pool person or a butcher or a taxi driver or a medic person, that kind of stuff. You get to fly around the map and create role play with people throughout the whole the map. And there's like thousands and thousands of servers on 5M. So that community I'm from originally started in Lake County, Illinois, which is perfect. I'm like, Lake County, I live in Lake County, which is perfect. Well, but then it was rebranded for Florida. So now we're called Sun State Roleplay instead of Lake County Roleplay, because there was a rebrand. And now it's so all the laws for like the police and fire and EMS are all based out of Florida. So we have to follow, like, if you're role play as a cop, you have to know the 10 codes, you have to know the NATO alphabet, you have to know this, you have to know how to do the cop job correctly, like how to pull somebody over, how to give a proper chase and the pit maneuver and all that stuff. And GTA logic is not always the best. So desync is one of the biggest things that happen. So you can be driving, following somebody, and then out of the blue, boom, you rear end them without you even knowing because of desync.
So you're basically doing Second Life, but with GTA. Mari, are you still Twitch streaming this too?
Yes. Still Twitch streaming. Not daily. I have taken a slight break. I do it once a week, but I'm gonna be coming back in once stuff around what I'm working on in my house that ends, and I'll be doing it more. Because I do have a free monitor setup that I have, like Twitch. I have OBS. I used to use Streamlabs. If you ever decide to stream, make sure you use the original OBS, not the Streamlabs OBS. Streamlabs OBS is great when you want to have as a addition to the OBS, but I have found out Streamlabs OBS can be very issuey when it comes to working and recording. If you do not have a card that's better than a 2070 and higher, you can see Streamlabs taking over your whole VRAM on your card. And
I've always said
crashing
that.
it.
I've always said that.
Yeah.
He has always said it. I've heard it at least twice now.
No, I have no idea. I'm so in the weeds right now. I'm still doing the math. I'm like, wait, you're learning the police codes to do a police job, but you're not really a police officer?
Also, I'm not gonna lie. I'm still stuck on people who are playing this game. Like, I get being the police in GTA. I get being the criminals in GTA. Like, I can wrap my head around that.
Cool, man.
The butcher. Like, what?
The butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker?
No, they don't have. So no. So
look, I'm not. Look, if I'm going to screw with someone, I'm not going to screw with a butcher.
But do you know?
I'm not going to screw with a candle maker. I don't want to end up in someone's candles. All right, I'm gonna mind my own business.
So they're actually this is what I know because right now, so you know how GT Online decided to redo the whole casino right now?
No.
So in Grand Theft Auto 5 in the online edition, when it came out in 2013, they used to have a casino that everybody thought, oh, we're gonna be able to play in it. Well, it took them almost 6 years for them to actually redo the casino. So they now added the casino to it, which you can go in and play blackjack and the slot machine, and you have a wheel of fortune that you spin and you can
So
win
it's
prizes
just
and stuff.
highly illegal. So people are you trying to say that people are putting money bets
No,
on?
it's not. It is well, you
I don't know, Marty.
it kind of feels like it because you have the option you can buy the credits to play the games, but it's
So
the
basically,
in-game. But it's the in-game
okay, but is it real credit? Is it real money for the credits?
No, not real money. You have to do missions, work, and stuff in order to gain the money in-game.
Okay.
That you can then use it for the in-game stuff. But then you have people who buy the shark cards.
Wait, that's what I want to know.
I'm gonna
Can
change
you
this
buy money?
conversation because it sounds sketchy AIF.
So could I join the role?
Yes, welcome to modern day monetization.
Right, Buzz, you're not allowed to roleplay ever again. Remember?
So
no, this is not the roleplay part. This is more of GT Online, but they just decided to add that to the roleplay server.
Anyway.
So on the subject of roleplay, right?
Yes.
So this week I thought we'd take a minute at least to talk about the intersection of analog and digital gaming, like tabletop, whether we're talking about role playing or board games, because I think we're seeing more kind of melding of the two, right? Like it's happened in the past, like things like Fallout, Ultima, Wizardry, Final Fantasy, influenced by the tabletop sphere. But even now, like something like Among Us, Slay the Spire, definitely kind of have their influences in like things like the Resistance and hidden role games and or like deck builders. Do you guys have any sort of experience there playing any sort of analog games?
Play a lot of Vampire the Masquerade.
It's true. This is not anything like that, but right now I'm playing Words with Friends with my immediate family, and my mother is raring to get the Scrabble board back out. I know this is exactly what you meant by this, Will.
I mean, there's another place where they intersect.
Nerd alert.
But no, aside from, the every other week Dungeons and Dragons game kind of deal where, I mean, again, what is Dungeons and Dragons? What is Final Fantasy? What is Dragon Age besides for or what is the Lord of the Rings game that I'm playing right now besides for it's a very elaborate Dungeons and Dragons game. It's very more apparent every single time.
Well, so it's weird for that description, right? For the last one, for Lord of the Rings, because when you're describing that, if you're saying that's like Dungeons and Dragons, but
Well,
Dungeons and Dragons inspired by Lord of the Rings, like it's like that line from Almost Famous where he's talking about Iggy Pop and Lou Reed, and Lou Reed doing Iggy and Iggy doing Lou. Lou is still doing Lou. Yeah, so.
the snake eating its tail.
Right.
I don't know. I never thought that it was actually inspired by the Lord of the Rings. I always thought it was inspired by Elric of Melniboné. I mean, that what basically Dungeons and Dragons and Warhammer and all these were inspired by.
Well,
you know what that is, right?
Yes, I know about Warhammer. Like
but I mean like the book actually of Elric of Melniboné by Michael Moorcock. Yeah,
yes.
That's what it was inspired by originally, but then it became the Lord of the Rings because the movies came out.
The book came out.
No, it became more prominent and more out there because of the movies, not because of the actual books. I know it's supposed to be with the books, but no.
Well, I mean, I started playing it after I read the book, probably in grade school, so before the movies.
The Dungeons and Dragons game?
Yeah.
Yeah, Dungeons and Dragons like goes back to mid to late 70s.
Oh, 70s, yeah.
Yeah.
Late
I-
70s?
Yeah, it was mid to late 70s. Gary Gygax, Dave Aronson. I don't know where Aronson lived, but Gygax was in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. I actually took my D. All right, we're not going to go into like what I did with
Yeah,
my D20 there. That's like, but yeah, like it's, and they're a lot like. I think there is some Elric because I saw that in the second edition handbook. What is the magic system? The Jack Vance's like Tales of Dying Earth,
The
which in
Vancian magic system.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there are a lot of like those fantasy things that they kind of pulled together when they decided they weren't going to do war games anymore and just play one character instead of like 100. But yeah, but anyone else play any sort of? Oh, it's fascinating. Any sort of board games at all?
Have you guys heard of? I don't know. I saw this a long time ago, and I think Dimitri. I mean, if anybody does this, it's probably Dimitri. But have you guys ever seen like that real life role playing?
LARPing?
Yeah.
You're right. Dimitri probably does do that.
You know what I'm saying?
Live action role play. It's like you're,
Yeah. You guys heard of that?
yeah.
They used to do that by the park I lived in when I lived in Charlotte, North Carolina. I'd go for like a walk after work just to like get some fresh air. And I'd see them doing it, and I'd be like, that would be the day that I would dress up in public. Because I'm just like, because the onlookers, because like people would line up on the side of like the soccer court they were doing it on and be like, and I'd be there too. I'd be like scoping out. I'd be like, that man is full on using like a whole ass roll of tinfoil to make like a shield.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay.
One
So
of the caregivers when I was in after school care latchkey, he would bring his entire chainmail and sword. This was in the 90s to school in his truck because not because
You
he
didn't touch his sword in the truck, did you?
God bless America, Stephen. He LARPed is the end of that sentence.
He LARPed.
You are.
I'm really glad that sentence ended that way. I'm really
Yeah.
happy. I don't know. I have friends who like are hyper into LARPing. Like
Really?
if it weren't for this thing going on right now, like they spend spring, summer, and fall like driving down to the middle of Illinois in random like forest preserves and doing LARPing. And like their main hustle is selling foam core weapons, like on the real. Like she
Really?
spends her time in their basement, like cutting all foams and making like if you have a weapon you like and you're like, man, I would love to see that in foam core, she is the person you'd call and be like, hey, can you make that happen? And once she
I am
gets
interested.
wow. Like no, it's just like I don't like she just tells me about it and I'm just like, all right, that's what you do. That's how you spend your time, you know. Good for you.
That's her main hustle, you said, not
That is her
side.
main that's not her side hustle. That is her main hustle.
That's not a side hustle.
No, and you know, that's the life they're living.
She's not like selling razor blades on eBay or anything, right?
Not that I know of. Not that
I would do that.
Be careful about that.
Lightning bolt.
Careful of that.
There's a lot of that. Like they've got like there's a whole booklet and there's like regional like rule sets and whatnot.
Regional,
yeah. Like there's it's its own little world. It is, but it's not little.
Yeah.
All right. Man, I guess I'm like weird because I play like in addition to like tabletop, I do a lot of like board gaming. Like a majority of the boxes that got moved from our place. Like we packed, I can say 149 boxes. Of the 149 boxes, there were 48 were nothing but board games. of some sort or another.
Jeez.
Wow.
I have 2 Kallax 4x6s that are chock full of board games. Like they were there.
What's your favorite board game?
I guess I'd have to say like right now, my favorite board game would be Tapestry. It's kind of like civilization type game, but super simplified. And I enjoy it mostly because the group I play with, like I know if I'm not busy on a Sunday, I can call them like, let's do an online game of Tapestry. And they're like, great, let's do it. And you get your little civilization and you got your ways you can build it. And it takes about 2 hours. And yeah, it's our beer and pretzels game. Except,
I always look at that game Gloomhaven online, like the Gloomhaven box. I really want to get it, but it seems kind of expensive because I don't play board games that much. But
I own Gloomhaven. I played a little bit of it. Like I played like through like 10 or 11 sessions.
you can do it by yourself, right? Like it's a single player and multiplayer game.
Yeah, you could totally like the game scales from 1 to 4 players. Like you can even like there was my partner had someone she worked with who also owned Gloomhaven and was playing. And Gloomhaven is set up in such a way that he could bring his character to my game, and then we would be able to play
That's cool.
just fine. And it scales like he was much further ahead, but the game would still scale difficulty so that he would still be challenged, but we weren't getting like waffle stomped by the game.
That's
Yeah,
kind of cool.
it is.
Oh,
I was thinking of something else I was playing. Or I don't know if I guess it's kind of like it's like reading / playing, but there's a series of old adventure books from when we were kids, or well, when I was a kid, I guess, varying age groups, right? But they're like choose your own adventure, but they're also RPGs, and you play through the book as a character. And so like one of them's like Escape from Hell House is the one I like the most, and they're like a series of books. And what you do is like you have a 6-sided die and a pencil, and you roll up a character, and you keep track on a piece of paper like your stats. And as you go, you make choices, and you have encounters, and you have to like detract and add stats to it. And it's actually like a really fun way to like burn through an afternoon. And there's other ones too, like Battle Pits of Karth is a really fun one. And so there's like this whole like niche genre of like kind of like choose your own adventure, but a little bit more game oriented at the same time. I really like those.
that's fun.
So there's actually within the board gaming sphere now, there's a series of like legacy games that have that sort of aspect where you play your game, and then at the end, things will happen that will impact the further games. Like the first one was Risk Legacy. The idea was like you play your game of Risk, things would happen. And then when you were done, like, all right, cool, you played this game Risk, and maybe like you did so well in this area that is now permanently your start area and you get an extra bonus. Or like you can get to the point maybe you nuke this town, like, and it's just gone, and sorry, that's it. And then yeah, and then like after you play through X amount of sessions, like you have this wholly original board of Risk that no one else has because they didn't necessarily make the same choices you did. And then you can either continue to play it, or I know some people framed it on their wall, stuff like that. But they've been a lot. Like Gloomhaven has a little bit of that. I don't think I don't think there's been like any of the other major common games have done anything. But there's a Pandemic one.
Oh,
Pandemic Legacy is serious business. It is serious business. Also, one of the most disappointing game experiences I ever had.
would the Sherlock games count?
Sort of, yeah. Like those definitely like not in the same legacy sphere, but it's weird because there's like an intersection there because the first time I realized early on that the first time I played Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective was on the Sega CD because it was a
Oh my
game
god, that's right.
that came with it. And one of the cases is the same case there.
Oh, so you
Like,
cheated.
no, I still did terribly. So no, I didn't cheat at all because it was the Mummy's Tomb where I refused to believe the game.
Okay.
I refused to believe it.
Sounds like somebody read ahead.
Oh, don't even.
Only Sherlock game.
I
Only
say
Sherlock
that
game.
because we play a Sherlock game with Christopher in the room usually, but somebody in this group, I won't name them, but they may or may not read ahead in the case file.
Yeah, I wouldn't know anyone who does that.
Thank you so much, Chris.
Genuinely, I would never know.
Sure.
Thank God for those headphones. Gem among men.
Sure. I mean, the only
Gem among
Sherlock Holmes,
the only Sherlock Holmes.
only Sherlock Holmes game I played is Private Punishment.
The Great Mouse Detective? What?
It's
Was that
Private
the?
Punishment.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
that came out for the PS3, didn't it?
PS3 and Xbox.
Okay.
PS, PlayStation, and Xbox.
Was it the 3 or the 2?
Let me-
It's material.
Actually, no.
But that is very interesting while we wait for Connor to 1 or 2 or 3, but
I mean, speaking of what,
Go.
oh, sorry, I was just gonna say, like, good pen and paper style, like, kind of board game meets video game, that Disco Elysium, I think, comes out to consoles today.
I think so.
Yeah, that one's really good. I played it on the PC and I thought it was like a whole crash course in like philosophy, literature. Like there was like the level of like just detail and the kind of thing where like, you know, sometimes when you play like a CRPG that's like been adapted from a tabletop, you're kind of like feeling out. You're like, oh, okay, this is a skill check. This is clearly like the dialogue branch. That game, I'm always like, oh, I thought I was going the exact same way, and where I am truly, that game feels like a living, breathing like novel in a way, because like you just go on these paths and talk to people, and like dialogue trees will just cut off suddenly sometimes. I'm like, oh, I actually have to pay attention and do some reading.
Well, I heard they do voice acting now.
Yeah.
So, like, cause it really kind of reminded me of like the feel of like the original Fallout. Like it kind of had that sort of feel, you know. And I was
Yeah.
surprised that they they managed to add like voice acting. I don't know how much of it voice acting they added, right? Like,
Well, I heard a lot of it.
There's the inner
a lot
narration
of it.
is voice acted now, which is cool because like, so one of the interesting things about that game is that all the stats have voices now. So your stats actually talk to you. So if like you've got like your charisma will like kind of chime in and have like this like kind of like jazzy voice, and it'll be like, hey, why don't we look into this? And then you can talk back to your stats and have full on blown like internal mental conversations. And suddenly you'll unlock like the conception of like the masses, and you'll suddenly be able to understand how common people think better or something as a figment. And then you can lock those in. So you don't equip armor or weapons. Well, you can have tools and stuff, but you actually slot in ideals or ideas. Like you can have like feminism be something that you slot in and gain experience in over time, and it will morph so that you'll become suddenly you'll find yourself being like an anarchist, pro-social, like feminist, like techno wizard who is here to solve this crime. And then somebody else could be like a smooth jazz club operator who goes to karaoke every night and knows how to sing really well. And that's your way of getting through like the mission. And like, it's so, I mean, chef's kiss. It's an impossible game to describe, but if you like any of those things, go play it.
all right, when I one day play games again, maybe I will give that a go.
And I looked it up. Crimes and Punishment Sherlock Holmes was released for Windows, Xbox One, 360, PlayStation 3, and PlayStation 4.
Okay.
So, that
Well, 360 and one is not as hard because you could, in theory, like play the 360 on both, but the PS4 and PS3. I think it was a PlayStation Plus game at some point or another.
Oh, speaking of PlayStation Plus games, is anybody excited for April's?
What are they?
They are Days Gone, I know.
One of the Abe's Odyssey games, the newest one, I think.
Oh, the one from the showcase or whatever.
Yeah. And I can't remember what the third game is.
Oddworld, Soulstorm, Zombie Army 4? Let me look it up.
Yeah,
Yep.
Zombie Army 4. Yeah.
No, like shade to Oddworld, but I kind of feel like they had to give that one away.
I'll admit, like, it's rough coming after they gave us Final Fantasy VII Remake, which I didn't need, but like for them to get that, like, they just told you what this month tells me is like, look what we gave you last month. You should have taken it. Did you take it? That if you didn't,
I mean, the month before that was Control too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that
I don't
game
know.
was so
In
good.
my personal opinion, I think we finally got to the point in time where there's just so many games out there that they can give you one good game, and Sony can look at the catalog and we're like, we're okay.
all this tells me is I'm no longer even thinking about buying Ghost of Tsushima. That's all. They've convinced me. I just got to bide my time. If I bide my time, it will come.
Is it Ghost of Tsushima that I think they're actually in talks to adapting it into an HBO?
I think so.
No,
there's-
it's The Last of Us.
No, it's a movie.
No, it is
It's
also
a-
The Last of Us. You're right. It's the movie. They're making a movie of Ghost of Tsushima.
movie. Ghost of Tsushima, guy who did the John Wick director's doing that.
Oof.
That'll be nice.
I am interested.
Yeah, if we have your attention.
Will there be a beagle in the movie?
You can
I
only
mean-
wish.
Would you? So let me ask you this: would you really want to, like, looking at this dude's run? Would you want a dog there? Is that the best thing you want in a movie directed by this person?
No.
Does that
No,
seem
no,
the thing in the world?
no.
Like-
Not unless Keanu is there to.
Keanu did
Like-
not protect that dog. Let's
Nobody
If
came
you
after those
don't-
killers.
I mean, he probably would have if he didn't
Unbelievable.
immediately get hit in the back of the head with a bat. That kind of makes it hard.
Yeah.
So here's the thing, though. By the time you get to 3 and you see all the stuff that happens to him, like that bat to the head did what it did, is that much more impressive.
Yeah, that's true.
It is. Well, he's also very depressed. He's coming off of he had a hard few months.
Yeah. In the movie, didn't his wife die or something like that?
Yeah.
Well, way to spoil the plot.
Hold on.
Wow.
Okay.
Spoiling the
This is-
first like literal minute of the movie.
I ruined that part. But think about it like this. It wasn't until they killed his beagle that he lost his mind. Right?
Eagle was the only thing that he had going for him.
It's the
Yeah.
only thing he had
Let's
left.
be fair. It's not like you can fight disease with a gun.
Yeah.
I can't shoot pancreatic cancer in the mouth. I could just sit there and be sad about it.
Yep.
Which is what he did.
Until they provided him a mouth to hit.
Quite a few.
Yeah, quite a few. Like they.
This whole experience has been a trip, man.
Man, I'm telling you, that vaccine has given me one hell of a fever dream, and this is it.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell am I doing?
Some good stuff, man. I should go watch the other 2 John Wicks for the first time ever.
I've never seen a John Wick.
I will admit, I finally bought the first one after Will and other people's suggestions, and it's a good time.
I hear good things. I've only ever seen that one scene where they're like in like a subway station or something, and they're like shooting each other with silencers, and like nobody knows they're like popping caps at each other.
It did oddly make me want to play Death Stranding more.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know. Like Keanu is not in that. Mads is not in it.
Mads Mikkelsen is in. Oh, you mean
But
he's
he's not in
that
John
movie?
Wick. Yeah. Nor is Norman Reedus. So they're nothing alike. I think just the color palette of the film made me think of Death Stranding.
Yeah, I mean, my man Norman Reedus does a lot more running from things that John Wick would not run from.
Well, he's used to it now with that zombie apocalypse he's in. How they still have gasoline. 10. Anyway, that's a whole different.
I'm not talking about The Walking Dead. That's where I'll draw the line.
Okay, that's the line.
So I'll ask you about one other thing here, related to thing. Monopoly. Did any of you guys play this thing?
No.
The board
Like the
game?
McDonald's Monopoly, yeah.
The board
No,
game?
the board game
Yeah.
Monopoly.
No.
Yeah.
Why
They also
not?
had the Chicago rendition.
Absolutely not. I'm not good with money. Those rules seem arbitrary.
Monopoly was ruined by people who did under the table deals.
Oh.
Like, I'll bail you out. That kind of like under the table rules, and then once you have a good thing going, say like owning the rails, the entire rails, people start to go against you and put you out of business. But that is whatever.
Yeah, I don't want to play your capitalist simulator. I get enough of that.
I'm there for Risk. Like, I will play Risk for like 2-3 hours. But Monopoly, not so much.
What about Jewel Monopoly? Like
Julasco, yes. I'll win that Rachel Ray.
Crockpot, whatever.
Yeah.
That's what I'm currently playing. I mean, that's what
I love how there's always one of Boardwalk or Park Place, and they switch it up, where you get like tons of Boardwalk and never see a Park Place, or tons of Park Place and never see a Boardwalk.
Like, who's rigging this system? Who put this in the cash register?
My dad lives for Julasco Monopoly.
Have you guys seen the documentary on
Yes.
the McDonald's Monopoly?
Yes.
Yeah.
That is fascinating. That is
Yeah.
utterly fascinating.
I wish I
I've
could
seen the Michael Keaton.
he
I've seen the
cheated the system, and like he won, and he had like friends of his win for decades almost, I want to say.
Yeah.
Oh.
I have not seen the documentary. I've seen the Michael Keaton movie, The Founder.
No. So this is not about like the ordinary McDonald's, but it's about like a guy who they're saying who cheated the Monopoly game, like utterly cheated it. Like
He basically knew which card, like where the stickers and the cards would be for the Monopoly thing that was coming out, like the little peel like thingies. And
Did he
kind of
printing system?
Yeah, because he had access to the printing company, and it was supposed to be like they treated it like a casino kind of level thing where they had all this like, the stuff was like double secret. He was basically handing out the winning tokens to people in his like close social circle because he couldn't win it. But he was like, "Hey, take this piece. You go collect the money, split it with me." And so he kind of rigged the whole system. And then, eventually McDonald's caught on, and it was a whole thing. And there was a sting operation too.
The mob gets involved.
The mob's involved, and then there's like a whole like undercover like sting operation where they're interviewing the basically like, the Federal Bureau was involved too. It was huge.
It was wild. It's a wild documentary.
Yeah, if you have access to HBO, it is worth watching. Like I think they're the ones who had it. I think it was executive produced by Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. Like I never hated Monopoly as much. Like mostly when I learned how to play it right. Like I didn't put money under free parking. You auction everything when you get onto it, and you accept that your friends are trying to bankrupt you. Like as long as you can accept those three things, it's I think a pretty straightforward game and short. Not short, but it's relatively short. Like I think you've done in an hour and so. But I will say it's to what you said earlier, Sarah. I'm also always here for Risk. I love Risk.
Not with Buzz.
Why not?
He knows why.
No, I don't. What the fuck are you talking about?
Whoa.
Also, language. This is a children's program.
This is a children's
Family
program?
friendly.
This is a library children's program.
Think of the
Doesn't seem like it anymore.
Oh my god! All right, I'll take the L on that one.
I think there's more than one L.
Maddie,
Don't
just
worry.
edit it out. Just
Don't
put
worry, I'll add the beep sound to it.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Man, geez.
Wait,
You know, I show up here.
The beat is
show up here as
aggressive.
the honored
Muted
guest, and
muted
this is
instead.
the latest.
Muted is more subtle.
Yeah, just delete the soundtrack when you get in there.
What about
So,
the?
wait, time out.
What
Let's go back. What is the issue with like Buzz and Risk. Like, I
Oh,
know.
he's just too good. Not fun.
I got those hot dice. You know what I mean? When I roll, it's always a 666. Like little Nas ain't got nothing on my devil power.
Call me by your name, girl.
I remember like playing with my friends in high school, and like we would always lament about what we like bloody Siam, like the one path to get into Australia, and how many men could be lost there. We once put together, what was it? Regular Risk board, Star Trek Risk board, and a Lord of the Rings Risk board. So we
All
had
at
them kind of all at once. So we had them all sitting next to each other, and we kind of made rules for like, all right, you go from here in like China, and it will lead you to this part of Middle Earth, and then from here you can
Oh my
go
God.
to like this ship. Now, mind you, like we got rid of the Star Trek, and I think it was Trek. We got rid of the Star Trek board first, like we like eliminated someone off there, and then like Earth we were done with, and we was left with Middle Earth, and then halfway through the game, we decided that we would treat the land masses as if they were actually there. So there's actually only one way to get into Mordor.
William, I cannot take this level of 3D Risk. That is vol.
Absolutely
How long did
can.
that take?
So we started it at, I want to say like 7 o'clock at night. We finished at about 9 a.m. the next day.
That is incredible.
We just kept playing and we kept going. We did this at, hey, this is shout out to Gus. We did this at Dominican.
Oh,
Like
really?
we hung, yes, we were at Dominican. Like one of the guys went to Dominican and we just sat there and we played this game all night into the morning.
Wow.
I think I ultimately won. Like I managed, like I had to fight my way into Mordor, but I did it, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm also for Risk. It's fun.
Oh my God.
Oh.
Well, I'm looking forward to eventually playing Risk maybe once the COVID is over.
Oh, jeez. I'm telling you, maybe try out Risk Legacy. I think it would be fun. It makes the game a little more engaging, more exciting. There are
I'm
consequences.
looking forward to it.
I don't know. Have you ever played it with your sister and brother-in-law and started a marital dispute? Because that's always fun too.
No, I saved that for Rummy Cube.
Oh, touche.
That's our. My brother told me that a higher power was blessing him, and I was like, I was
Cthulhu?
very well. I was just confused that like he had that sort of time. Like we're playing a game of Rubbing Cube. What's going on here?
Good stuff. What are we talking about next time? Or are we watching the movie?
Yes, we're watching.
No,
movies.
Mortal Kombat got pushed back a week.
Oh no, that's right. Will it be before we?
It got bumped back a week because because they wanted to give Godzilla versus Kong rating room.
But we still can watch the original Mortal Kombat because that's on Canopy, right? Or Hoopla. It's on.
Yeah.
It's not Canopy. Will not.
Yes, so we could. Yes, and then maybe after we can talk a little bit about the new one.
Also, since you guys are forcing me to watch Pixels,
No. Oh God, you chose to do that.
you said, I heard it last time. You said watch Pixels. So yeah, we'll talk about some video game movies, where it goes right, where it goes wrong, and where
There's gonna be a lot of there's gonna be a lot more in the where it goes wrong column.
oof, yeah, yeah.
How
Like
long?
so who's taking the Uwe Boll hits? Like that's all I want to know. Oh, there we go.
I want to watch Blood Rain.
Oh
And
man.
I want to watch the one where it's like the parody of his own movie that he made, so he could get double dipped on the tax.
I took the Assassin's Creed hit. I'm not doing that again. I took the Assassin's Creed hit
find something.
Hey, I'm gonna watch Monster Hunter tonight. So.
Okay.
It's not good, but it's a good time.
Is it so bad it's good?
It's like it's kind of like it's kind of like somebody was like, "Hey, we made a bunch of props for a Monster Hunter movie. You have some CG cutscenes. Do you want to make a Monster Hunter movie?" And they're like, "Nah, but we'll use those props in those cutscenes." So you're kind of like because the guy's like, "Yeah, we've got this big sword made out of a monster's jawbone." And she's like, "Oh, is that important for your village? Like how you live your life?" And he's like, "I don't know. You think there's a plot here, lady?"
But just have it.
It's just Stargate is all it is.
I mean, that is kind of just how Monster Hunter as a whole works. It's like, yeah, we killed this giant monster and we made tools out of it. Oh, is that important to you? No, not really. Here, you want it for like 100 gold?
Yeah, there's no moral or lesson here. Like it's weird because like Mila Jovovich and the other like characters from our universe are like, it's definitely like a how do we get home story. And then the Monster Hunter people just happen to be there as like the landing pad for them. They're like, and they're not like nonplussed about the monsters at all. They're like, yeah, don't you have big monsters where you're from? And they're like, no. And they're like, oh, that's too bad.
Oh my god, it's Land of the Lost.
Yeah, it's every one of those stories where like a bunch of like, yeah, like really good looking people from our universe land in like another universe and are like, your ways are different than ours and your society seems basic. Like, okay, well, we'll help you get home even though you're kind of rude about it. Like,
I want one of those stories where they just had to learn how to actually be kind before they get any help. It's like everyone in that universe is more than capable of helping them get home, but they choose not to, specifically out of spite.
Yeah, it's weird because like in the movie, Mila Jovovich's character is like, she kind of like is the one who like does the whole like Avatar thing where she's like, all right, I'll learn their ways. So like at one point she has like an AK-47 and the big monster jawbone sword, and so she's like swinging around and shooting. She's like best of both worlds, like kind of a thing. Like she's master of both universes, and that's like her takeaway.
Sounds like Avatar, just not as good.
Yeah, it's like that. It's that same story. I mean, you'll pick it up and you'll be like, you could be completely like halfway gone to sleep watching that movie and you wouldn't miss a beat. You know what's going on.
Is anyone going to watch the Mario Brothers movie?
I will happily watch that if you need me.
Yes, I'll probably watch it.
Yeah. Either that or I still haven't watched Wreck-It Ralph Breaks the Internet.
I'm just gonna watch the club scene of Mario Brothers. That's the best part. When Bob Hoskins dances with Boom Boom Bertha and gets the necklace back. And she gives him a big smooch and sends him on his way. And it's so subversive and so wonderful. And everybody walks the dinosaur.
Yeah.
Oh man, that scene is
terrible, terrible, great movie.
No, it's so good. That scene.
I love
That
it.
scene is like imprinted in my mind forever.
That's good.
All right.
All right, y'all.
And we'll come back
All right.
2 weeks. We'll see some movies. We'll talk it out. Maybe some will be better than we remember.
Video game movies. All right.
A lot of great ones.
Bye, everyone.
A lot of greatness.
Cheers, everyone.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.